have not turned around. Can I tell you this morning that this woman had done all that she knew how to do, but yet she had not found relief from her issue. 12 long years, the text says that she struggled with her issue. Can I put this on pause this morning and tell somebody, you may be struggling, but God is with you. You may be going through, but God is with you. You may be facing a higher mountain, but God will give you strength to climb. Somebody ought to help me this morning, because this woman finds herself with a predicament, a plague that she could do nothing about. Have you ever been there? You've got a problem, but you can't do anything about it. You've got a situation, but you can't do anything about it. Can I tell you that in those moments, you've got to turn and look for Jesus. You've got to turn your mind, your faith, and you've got to look for God in your circumstance. And watch this, Brother Deacon, when you turn and put your focus on God, you'll be able to see Him at work in your situation. The text this morning teaches us three things about our faith. The type of faith that we are going to need if you and I are going to make it on this journey. First thing I want to suggest to somebody here is that you've got to have a trusting faith. Watch the text this morning. She had been struggling for 12 long years, but she had expensed all that she had, but yet she heard that Jesus was in the vicinity. Somebody was there to shout this morning, because when you've gotten to the end of your rope, when you've gotten down to your last dime, and then God shows up, that's a good place to shout hallelujah. That's a good place to tell Him, thank you, Jesus. But watch the text this morning. She had enough trusting faith to know that if I can just get to Jesus, watch this, everything will be all right. Somebody missed it this morning. When you are facing trials and tribulations, people of God, you've got to have enough trusting faith to make your way to Jesus. And that means that every time the doorhouse swings open of the church, you ought to be in here telling God, God, I'm here with all of my issues. God, I'm here with all of my struggles. God, I'm here because you said you never leave me nor forsake me. She had trusting faith. And watch the text this morning. That might be a good word for somebody here today. That you've got to understand that you have to have the kind of faith that leads you to trust God even when you can't trace Him. Somebody missed it this morning. Can I help you this morning by telling you there are going to be seasons when it seems like God is far from you, but watch this. It isn't God who moves, it's you. Can I help you this morning? You've got to learn to have the type of faith that keeps going even when you feel like giving up. Have you ever been there? Have you ever felt like waving the white flag, giving up and walking away? But thanks be to God, you've got enough trusting faith to keep going when others tell you to quit. And that's why you got to be careful who you listen to, because some folks are trying to talk you out to keep going. But baby, can I tell you, if God be for you, who can be against you? You've got to have the kind of trusting faith that you serve against all odds. Watch the text. She makes her way to Jesus. She hears that Jesus is coming, and she says, if I could just touch. And that's the reason why I want to tell somebody this morning, not only must you have trusting faith, the faith to continue to pray even when you don't see immediate results. I think I just hit somebody's address this morning, because you've got to learn that every now and then there are going to be some delays in the answers to your prayers. Can I help you how you handle your delays in your life? When God puts you in a delay in your life, you've got to keep on praising God and trusting while you wait. I just said something to somebody this morning. While you wait on the house, you got to thank God for what you already got. While you wait on the car, you got to thank God for what he let you ride in right now. While you're waiting on God to expand your territory, you got to be faithful over what he's already done.
Yes, sir.
The reason why some of us can't get what we want from God is because we haven't been faithful over the little. Can I help you this morning? God says when you've been faithful over the little, I'll make you rule over much. Talk back to me if you can. If God's been good to you this morning, if you trust God enough, you ought to pause for a moment and just tell God, thank you this morning. She had trusting faith. She had trusting faith, but she also had touching faith. I'm in the text this morning. She says, if I just get an opportunity to touch him, she knew that she would be made whole. Church, I got to tell you this morning that you've got to have the kind of faith when all is spent, that you just believe that God can. That you just believe that no matter what your natural eyes see, that God can do the impossible. Am I by myself this morning? Have you ever seen God do the impossible in your life? Got sick, but God got you back on your feet. Got some doors closed in your face, but God opened some new doors. Somebody ought to help me preach here, because you've been in some places that only God could get you out of. You've been in some circumstances that only God could make a way for. And am I by myself this morning? You ought to just wave your hand and tell God, thank you for getting me out of my mess. Thank you for opening new doors. Thank you for keeping this church open all these years. Thank you. She had touching faith. So can I help you with 2 or 3 things here? She understood that if she could just get to Jesus, that her circumstance would change. And that's a good word for somebody here today. That if you can just get to Jesus, if you can just surrender your life to Jesus, if you can just rededicate your life to Jesus, if you can just give him all that you have, he'll do the rest. And can I help somebody this morning? God knows how to work with leftovers. Talk, boy, because somebody missed it. You've got to understand something. All of us are just leftovers. Leftovers something, but thanks be to God, he knows how to work with leftovers. And if you ain't too cute or too proud this morning, if you know God redeemed you, the Bible says, let the redeemed of the Lord say so. So if he's done anything for you, you ought to open your mouth and give him praise. If he brought you back, you ought to give him praise. If he delivered you from drugs and alcohol, you ought to give him praise. If he kept your family together, give him praise this morning. Don't fool me. I know he's done something for you. Tell God, thank you. He knows how to work with leftovers. He knows how to work with what you got left. So you got to learn how to just give it to Jesus. She touches. She touches. But there's something else in the text I want you to see. She had a plague. She was considered dirty, unclean in those times. So in order for her to get to Jesus, she had to take a risk. I'm going somewhere this morning. On this journey called the Christian walk, you're going to have to take some risk. You're going to have to do some things that are uncomfortable. You're going to have to do some things that folks said you couldn't do. Talk, boy, because somebody needs to hear this.